Hello everybody and welcome to another episode. In today's episode I'm going to show you all how to properly maintain and fix any Mercedes Benz C-Class from the year 2007 and up. So today I'm working on this car. This car has the engine C200 CDI and it has the version W204. The owner of this car just brought it here at my garage to get it fixed, and after I did some checks I found out that the car has a lot of problems with the engine. So the first problem, it is with the water pump, which just broke down on the road and which is leaking coolant. And as you can see, it's blocked into the engine, and because the water pump is broken, it also snapped the serpentine belt on this car. Now, for example, it's a very good idea to check all the pulleys and all the guidance rods from this engine, and from what I can see, all the pulleys and the guidance rods are okay, they are working perfectly fine, but in my case I'm going to replace the water pump completely. I'm going to install a new serpentine belt, and also I'm going to install the guidance rods brand new, because in this way I'll have no problems with them in the future. Moving on with the problems on this engine, I found out that the seal from underneath the camshaft cover, it's broken and is leaking a lot of oil over the engine. So I have to replace the seal and remove the camshaft cover to fix this problem. After that, as you can see right here, in the area where the injectors are installed on the engine, there is a lot of oil, and this is meaning that the O-rings, the seals from the injectors are bad, and also I have to remove the injectors and replace the seals from each one of them. Right here, as you can see, this is the serpentine belt which just snapped because of the water pump. As you can see, this is by Dico made, but it's a very good manufacturer. But if, for example, your water pump is broken, it will also snap whatever serpentine belt you have installed on the car. Doesn't matter the match. If something is not working properly, it will break the serpentine belt. Alright everybody, so now the first thing which I'm going to do before replacing the parts is to clean the entire engine very good. I'm going to wash the engine, I'm going to clean everything very good, and after that I'm going to go ahead and install the parts back on the engine. Alright everybody, right here the engine is properly cleaned. I cleaned it with some universal degreaser and also with a little bit of water, and as you can see right now, everything is in a very good condition. Right now you are all able to see exactly how the parts are looking, where they are installed, and how are they secured over the engine. And right here, this is the water pump. This is the main problem with this engine, which just broke down over the road. Also, if you are going to clean the engine, make sure to not put any water over the ECU or over the battery and over the air filter box. So as you can see right here, I cleaned it also inside the area where the injectors are installed on the engine. And from here, the engine is in very good condition. I'll go ahead and order the parts for the car, and I will come back to show you all how to install the parts over this engine. So right here, this is the water pump which just broke down. I'm not sure if you all can see right here underneath the water pump, but it's leaking coolant from right here. Probably on the camera you are not able to see it because it's a very small crack inside it, but this is the problem with the water pump which just broke down over the road and which is broken on this car. So now the car normally it's starting, it's working on the battery power. For example, if the battery is charging, if the battery it's in a good condition, it will work for a short period of time, and after the electricity, after the battery is going down, it will stop the engine because there will be no more power to supply the engine. And if, for example, the alternator is not working, or if the alternator is not charging the battery, the car will just die. On the dashboard, I also have the check engine light turned on, and after I placed my diagnose to see exactly from where this light is coming, I saw that I have some problems with the thermostat, but the thermostat can also give you some problems if the water pump is broken, like in my case it is. And I also have a problem with the DPF pressure sensor, which I'm going to figure out later from where the problem it is, if it's with the DPF filter itself or if it's only the sensor. So on this car, I'm going to film different scenarios. I'm going to show you exactly how to replace those parts on this engine, but I'm not going to make it in only one video because the video will be too long. So I'm going to show you exactly in one video how to replace the thermostat, for example, how to replace the water pump on this car and all the hardware from around it. And in another video, I'm going to show you all how to remove the injectors and so on. Okay everybody, right here I'm going to show you all how to replace the thermostat on this car and also how to replace the water pump in this episode. So right here, as you can see, this is the brand new thermostat which I'm going to install on this vehicle. This one cost me about 16 euros, something like that, but the price is depending on what manufacturer you are choosing to buy for your car. This one, as you can see, is installed in this position. So for example, if you don't know how to remove the old one from the car, just buy a new one and you'll have to follow the exact same position for the new one, and you'll see exactly where the holes are located, where the screws which are securing it mounted to the car are located, and in this way you'll know exactly what you have to dismantle and what you don't have to dismantle. So to remove the thermostat from this kind of vehicle, you'll have to follow my technique. So the thermostat is holding in with 3 metal screws over the engine, and after that you'll have to disconnect a lot of connectors which are going into the sensors from the thermostat, and then you'll have these little pipes in the left and in the right which you'll have to disconnect, and in the last you'll have to disconnect 3 bigger hoses by removing the metal clamps, and after that the thermostat will come out from its place. But with all of these things being said, it's easier to watch exactly how I'm doing it and what I'm removing it, because in this way you'll know exactly what you have to do on your car and how you have to do it on your vehicle. So from here, as you can see, the first thing which I'm doing is removing the upper hose. You have to remove the metal clamp, you have to lift it up, and the hose will come out from its place. After that, you'll have to disconnect all the connectors which are going over the thermostat, and you'll have to put them away, because in this way you'll have more access to the screws which you'll have to remove from the thermostat. After that, the next step which you'll have to do is to remove this little hose which is going from underneath the thermostat into the water pump. You'll have to lift it up from the water pump and it will come out, and you'll have to put it away because you'll have more access if you remove it completely. Right now, I'm removing the last bolt which is securing the thermostat mounted over the engine, and after that I can pull just from the thermostat and it will come out from its place. Alright everybody, so as you can see, the thermostat is out from the vehicle. This is how it's looking, and also this is how all the connectors and all the hoses are looking with everything dismounted from the engine. So from here, the next step which I'm going to do is to clean the area very good. I'm going to wash the engine one more time because I want to install everything in a very clean surface. And as you can see, this thermostat, it's an original one. Probably is not the original one which came from the factory, but probably in the past someone replaced it with an original one on this vehicle. As you can see, there is a lot of oil right here in this area because the oil is leaking from underneath the camshaft cover. But I'm going to wash it, I'm going to use some universal degreaser, and I'm going to install everything back like it was before on a very clean surface. So as you can see, I cleaned the area. This is how everything is looking so far. And right now, the only thing which I have to do is to install the new thermostat back over the engine. To install it is the exact same position. You'll have to follow the exact same steps to install it back on the vehicle. You'll have to put it first in the lower position on the water pump, and then you'll have to push it into the hose from the right. One more thing which you'll have to do before installing the brand new thermostat over the engine is to replace the O-ring from this bigger hose. So the O-ring will came into the kit with the brand new thermostat, and you'll have to replace the old one from the hose and install the brand new one, because otherwise probably the system will not be closed enough. Probably the hose will leak in time, so it's a very good idea to replace the O-ring and make it like new. As you can see, the thermostat is installed back on the vehicle. The job is finished. This is how to replace the thermostat on any engine like this one, on any Mercedes Benz, doesn't matter which year it is. And now the next step which I'm going to do is to replace the water pump on this kind of vehicle. Alright everybody, moving forward with the job on this vehicle, I'm going to show you all how to replace the water pump and how to install a brand new water pump along with all the gaskets from this vehicle. So normally the water pump is coming into the box with all the gaskets from around it and the gasket from the water pump itself. But normally the water pump it's mounted over the mounting bracket, over one mounting housing on which the water pump is sitting, and right underneath this housing it's mounted over the engine. And normally between the engine and this housing, between the engine and this mounting support of the water pump, you will find another gasket. And if you, for example, don't replace the gasket in time, it can leak coolant and you'll have to follow the exact same job. You'll have to do it one more time because you didn't do it in the beginning. So in today's episode I'm going to show you all how to replace all the gaskets and also how to replace the water pump on this vehicle. Right here, as you can see, the water pump which I bought for this car, it's made by Ep1. it has all the gaskets which are necessary to replace on this vehicle. And also I'm going to show you all in today's episode how to replace the guidance rolls from this car and also how to install a brand new serpentine belt on this vehicle. Right here, this is the lower guidance roll and this is the upper guidance roll from this engine. Also, the serpentine belt which I choose for this car is made by Continental. Okay everybody, so to remove the water pump from this engine, you'll have to remove 7 bolts using a Torx 30, which are securing it mounted to the car, and after that you have to remove 1 liter hose, which is mounted right here at the top, in the right position of the water pump, and then the water pump will come out from the vehicle. Okay everybody, so as you can see, the water pump is removed from the vehicle. Right now it's blocked, but for example, if you push it hard enough, it will unblock itself because it's also installed over a hub, and probably this hub is broken from inside. So as you can see, just look how much play it has. This is why the water pump was broken. This is why it was leaking coolant all over the car. And as you can see, this is why you have to replace it on the vehicle as soon as possible, because normally those water pumps are going to work on the vehicle for about 5 years, and after that there is a risk of breaking them or something like that if you don't replace them. Okay, so moving forward, the next step which I'm going to do is to clean the area very good on which the water pump will be sitting after I'm going to install a brand new one. And then I'm going to show you all how to remove this housing. This is the water pump mounting bracket over the engine. Moving forward, to remove the mounting bracket of the water pump, to remove this housing which is mounted directly over the engine, you have to remove 4 bolts which are securing it mounted in place. After that, you have to remove 1 hose which is going from the right side into the thermostat, and you have to remove it from the thermostat position, from the upper part. And then we have to remove 2 hoses from the left side, and also the bigger hose which is going from the air filter into the turbine. From here, just follow exactly what I'm doing. It's a very easy job. In my case, for example, I'm not worrying about anything because it's very simple. It can be done by anyone. Right now, for example, I'm doing it in the front of my house. I'm not even doing it into the garage because in the garage I have another car which I'm working on. So this is meaning that this job can be done everywhere by anyone. After remove the hoses from the left side, you'll also have one metal bracket right here in the left side, which is securing the housing of the water pump mounted to the engine. You'll have two screws which you'll have to remove, and after that you'll have to remove the hose which is going from the air filter to the turbine. Moving forward, in my case, I'm going to remove this guidance roll because I will also have to replace it later with a brand new one. But if you remove it earlier, you will also have more access and more room to work with. And in this case, probably it will be a little bit easier to remove the housing of the water pump from the car. One thing which I recommend you to do is to not remove this hose which is going from the air filter to the turbine completely out from the car, because there is no need to. You will only have to remove it from the part and you'll have to move it out of the way. And then you'll have enough space to pull the housing of the water pump completely out from the vehicle, like I'm doing right here. So as you can see, I'm pulling it up and it's coming out from the thermostat and also from all the parts. So right here, as you can see, this is the gasket which I was talking about that we'll have to replace and remove. And right now, for example, the next step which I'm going to do is to clean the engine very good. I'm going to clean the metal area and also I'm going to put some silicone over it just to make sure that the gasket will fit properly and that I will not have any leaks in the future. So as you can see, this hose is not removed completely, it's only removed from the air filter and also from the turbine, and it's put it away. Also, right now it's a good idea to check the turbine. You have to check the little star, you have to move it around, and if it has a lot of movement, if it's leaking oil or something like that, the turbine needs to be reconditioned or repaired. Right here, as you can see, this is the area which you'll have to clean very good, and also this is the area which is touching the mounting bracket or the housing of the water pump. So as you can see, right here, you'll have to clean it very good. And in my case, for example, I like to put a little bit of grease, a little bit of silicone over it, just to make sure that it will close good enough and I will have no leaks in the future. So as you can see, this is the little gasket which you have to replace and which is coming into the kit with the brand new water pump. It's sitting right here, and just look at the gasket which is already mounted over this housing. It's completely destroyed, it's completely pushed inside the housing, and this is meaning that the system probably was not closed enough, probably it was leaking a little bit of coolant, so this is why I decided to replace it with a brand new in today's episode. Also, make sure to replace the gasket from this little hose, because this one is also coming in the kit with the brand new water pump. Alright everybody, so as you can see, I cleaned everything very good, I made everything like new, And as you can see, I placed just a little bit of silicone over the metal part, which is touching the housing, which must be closed with the housing. And also I installed the brand new seal, the brand new O-ring over the housing, and right now, for example, everything is ready to be installed back on the vehicle. Right here I have the brand new water pump from this vehicle, on which I installed the brand new gasket, and on which I also placed a little bit of silicone over it, just to make sure that it will not leak in the future. Because in my case, for example, I always like to put a little bit of silicone over the parts, because it's better to be safe than sorry, and because I always like to do the job very good from the beginning than having to redo it again one more time. Okay everybody, so with all of these things being said, it's time for me to install everything back together over the engine. In my case, I'm going to replace right now the O-ring from the little hose, and I'm going to install everything back together over the engine like it was before, in the exact same order. After you install the housing or the mounting bracket of the water pump back over the engine, you'll have to tie the 4 bolts which are securing it to 20 Newton meters. Alright everybody, everything is installed back over the engine like it was before, and right now the next step which I have to do is to install back this little hose over the water pump and install the water pump back over the housing or over the mounting bracket of the water pump. After you place back the water pump, you have to take the bolts which are securing it mounted to the engine to 10 Newton meters. Right here, as you can see, the water pump is completely secured back over the engine, and now the next step which you have to do is to install back this little bracket from the left side and secure the little two screws which are securing it mounted in place. Moving forward, right now I'm going to install back the guidance rods which are removed from the engine, and you have to tighten it to 25 Newton meters. Alright everybody, so as also everything is secured back over the engine, and now the next step which I have to do is to install back the serpentine belt from this engine, and after that I'm going to install a lot of coolant. I'm going to put the coolant back into the engine, and then I'm going to start the car, and I'm going to show you all how everything is behaving and how everything is working after this kind of job. Okay everybody, so as you can see, the serpentine belt is installed back over the engine. Everything is looking perfectly and is working perfectly from what I can see. And now the next step which I have to do is to add coolant into the engine and start the vehicle. As you can see, the reservoir of the coolant from this engine is completely empty because all the coolant was leaking down because of the bad water pump. And right here, as you can see, I installed just a little bit of coolant, and I'm going to let the engine run until it will reach the normal temperature and until it will open the thermostat and until it will flush itself completely. Right here, this is the first time when I started the engine after I finished this kind of job. And I'm going to start the engine, I'm going to let it warm up, and then I will add more coolant and complete the system if I have to. Okay everybody, as you can see, the engine is sounding very good, the engine is working how it's supposed to be working. This is how to remove the water pump and also the thermostat and replace them on this kind of engine. In the episode number 2, I'm going to show you all how to remove the injectors, how to remove the camshaft cover, and also how to replace the O-rings and the seal from all of these parts. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video and found it informative, please leave a like and a comment down below. See you next time.